Hello, good evening everybody and welcome to the live show on Wild Ginger Running YouTube channel. So today a very special guest we have here. She's on day 993 of a running streak. So she's almost at 1,000 days of consecutive running. That's like nearly 3 years. It's Rav Billan. Woo!
I'm going to clap for myself. No, I'm going to clap for you, Claire. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, that's no problem at all. It's great to have you here. How are you today? How's your run been today?
My run today? Do you know what? I actually had to think for a second. Have I run today? Because it purely depends on my work schedule, whether I run in the morning or whether I run in the evening. So when you asked me earlier, I was like, actually, I have no idea. Have I run today? Yes, I have definitely run today. Yeah, it was all right. I did some intervals. So yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, and I saw also you had the battle ropes, or maybe that was yesterday because Instagram stories, that was a 20-hour ago story. So yeah, you were doing the battle ropes, which looked amazing.
Yeah, so I'm currently doing a bit of a diet and fitness overhaul. You can call it a midlife crisis, maybe. I turned 40 this year in May. And I can't keep on blaming my firstborn, who is now 14, and the baby weight that I gained then still on him because, you know, he's way taller than me now. So, I think I kind of got to a point where I was like, I need to do something. So I signed up to like a 12-week plan and, eek.
Wow. So you're doing this as well as you're running every day. Amazing.
Battle ropes and doing weights. So I did like about 45 minutes strength training session this morning with some weights. I probably did about 40 odd minutes with battle ropes yesterday and another workout in the evening. So yeah, it's a bit intense.
Yeah, wow. Well, I've got some great questions for you tonight, including like how do you fit all of this stuff in, because you are a busy mum who owns her own business. But first I want to rewind the clock to just ask you a little bit about when you started running and why, because I was reading an interview with you and it said you hated running at school. So I wanted to just explore that a little bit, why you hated running at school. And then you started running 4 years ago and you seem to have run every day since. So
I'm a bit like, I have a bit of a thing that when I start doing something, I can't really stop doing it, maybe. I was at school. I wasn't really active. I mean, I was really the little fat kid at school. I've been this height. I'm 4'10".
Really?
For those of you in the real world who have not met me, I'm 4'10" with like trainers on, not trainers like bare feet. So I am quite small in size. So I've probably been this height since I was about 9 in reality, which is why I wear 4-inch heels to just about everywhere. And that's why I can run in heels.
Ah, cool. So has some of your run streaking been in heels, in like full work gear?
Actually, I have ran to the running awards last year. We almost missed the boat. And we ran from Liverpool Street Station to Tower Hill to catch the boat, and that was in 4-inch red heels. So yeah, I can do it.
Wow, that is impressive. Really, really impressive. I think you've got to add that to your list of things on your CV.
Can run in heels.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, when I was at school, it was I don't know, I just wasn't really interested in sport. I guess because I was a little bit overweight as well, it just didn't seem something that was really something that I wanted to do, maybe. I hate
sport at school is always about like competitive running, isn't it? It's always about, we're doing this race now. It's not like about going and running through the woods and going, oh, have a look at that squirrel over there, is it? It's always horrible at school.
Well, actually, I'll tell you, I feel like some of my PE teachers were a little bit mean at times as well, especially at secondary school. Primary school, it's all fun because it's all rounders and like bean bags and things that you throw at each other and stuff, and it's fine. You get to secondary school and suddenly you've got to be a little bit grown up, and things like the hurdles, and I'm not being funny, hurdles are standard size. I may as well have been like long jumping over them with like a stick or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a pole vault for you.
Yeah, massively. It was just, I used to hate it, and so obviously I'd end up knocking them all over before running them, but trying to charge at something and you know you're going to rock anyway. Yeah, PE lessons weren't very fun. Almost being slightly mocked in every lesson, so you kind of like, okay, yeah, you know, roll your eyes, you know, this can happen. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. So what made you change 4 years ago to then start running then, if you've had such a negative relationship with running and sport?
I did want to start getting I did run the story. This is the thing when you do stuff live, you have people that walk in.
Hello.
Hello everyone.
Who's just walked in? Tell us who's there.
Just walked in to pick her kids up.
Oh.
Yeah, so 4 years ago, I guess it just happens with all of us, doesn't it? You feel like you need to start getting a little bit fitter, a little bit more you start caring about how you look, maybe, I don't know. I was going through a career change at the time as well, so I guess everything suddenly started to fit into place. The kids were a bit older, they were all at school, so there was I wasn't doing nappies and all sorts of other stuff anymore. Suddenly there was a little bit of time in the day that allowed us to do stuff. So me and my mum joined a gym, and we went to a hotel gym, which is local to us here, but it meant that it was very quiet after 9 o'clock. We didn't really see anyone, and that for me was perfect. I didn't want to see people, and I didn't want people to see me in anything that was remotely Lycra-esque either. So yeah, started running on the treadmill a little bit there, almost like an unofficial couch to 5k of sorts.
Yeah.
Slowly got up to 5k and felt quite good about it, started documenting it. That's when I joined Instagram originally, because I just used it as, I didn't tell anyone that I was on there. I don't know why, I just felt like I needed a separate account that was nothing to do with work, that was just purely to do with trying to get fit. Yeah, and it just started from there really. And then I had a family member who was losing weight but was a bit mean towards me about like how I looked and stuff, and said that all of my effort in the gym was basically wasted because I still looked the same.
Oh, great, thanks.
Yeah, thanks
for the support there, mate.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he wasn't very nice, and it bit me because elements of it were true. I think when someone says something to you that perhaps has an element of truth in it, it slightly hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was going to the gym and I was doing a bit of a running, and I was doing a bit of weights, and I was doing a bit of something else, and the cross trainer, and a bit of sitting and watching a movie while I'm doing this bike. But really, was I pushing myself? No. And there's difference, isn't it? We go to the gym and I was faffing around and I was taking selfies and I was doing all the other stuff and texting a few mates in between. So out of that hour gym session, I probably was only working out for, say, 40 minutes of it. And I wasn't pushing myself really hard. So yeah, I kind of felt like, okay, I need to do something. And then I actually wanted to prove him wrong. And so there's something naturally inbuilt in me that the minute that someone says I can't do something, is the minute that I kind of think, actually, do you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong now, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it the hard way. So I started running outside. But if I could almost show you what I had worn then, it was the biggest tent style t-shirt you can possibly imagine. The cap that I wore every single day on every single run. I ran very late. In fact, on my Instagram post, there is the very first run documented that I did outside. But that one wasn't so late. It was just a very quiet Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But as much as I didn't want anyone to see me, then I started running in the dark, so very, very early in the morning. So this is why I'm not scared of the dark. So I know a lot of people fear running in the dark. I actually really love it, and I don't have this fear factor of, oh my gosh, it's dark, I can't go outside. I just think, oh, it's dark, that's brilliant. Very few people can see you when you're, not that it bothers me so much now. Now I'm like in your face, and now try and get me out of your face somehow. Now we have the other problem, she's everywhere.
Yeah, your pictures are great though, like those sunset pictures that you put a lot of sunset pictures on Twitter. It's just lovely to see them.
Yeah.
Or are they sunrise? Are you an early riser? Both. Yeah.
Sometimes both. Yeah. Sunrise is my favourite. Purely because I think there's something very magical in the air. So when the sun starts to rise, the sky just changes in front of you, and you can't explain that feeling to anybody else. So and I always call it a privilege. So if you get to witness sunrise, I believe it's a privilege, and it's almost a bit meditative at times, because it makes you stop and it makes you pause, it makes you reflect. There's something a bit spiritual about it, maybe.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think running at sunrise, not that I ever motivate myself to get up at that hour, maybe in the winter, but like there's something about it that's really special about running before most people have got up. And if you were to see one more runner, you'd be like, hi, and you'd be like sharing this special secret time together.
Yeah, I've run to a spot that's here in Leicestershire. It's the second highest peak, and I've ran there twice at sunrise now. And you do see the odd crazy nutter like me that I've gone up there at sunrise, and it's always a runner. And it's just quite, you almost silently stand there at the same time appreciating the view. You just take it all in. It's actually really, it's really nice.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? It's just really good. And there's lots of people here that are huge fans of yours now that you are on Twitter and Instagram and everywhere. And I just want to give you a little taste of who's watching just now, because we've got tons of people and they all want to say hi. So I'll just do a few little shout outs, and then we'll go on to like why you love running and why you love trail running in particular as well, because I've seen some good pictures on there. So first of all, Amanda Armstrong says, hi everyone. She was the first to put her hi, so she's very proud of herself for that. Matt H says, hi everyone. Conrad says, greetings from Michigan, so he's watching all the way from America.
Wow.
Peter Kraufhofer says, hello from foggy Vienna. Paul Feely says, hi everyone. Abby Norman's here as well, she's done the high five thing. Tobbs is here as well, he says hi. Nigel says hello, and Guy sends his apologies, but he's asked me to say hi to everyone, so Guy can't make it tonight, but he wanted to say hi to you anyway. Carl Southgate is watching from the mountains of the Pyrenees in his camper van. Amazing. Tony Madsen says hello as well. Carl also says he's been in a midlife crisis for the last few years, so yeah, nothing to worry about there.
Fine.
And Run Simon Run, that's Simon Gerhardt on Twitter.
Yeah,
he's watching.
I absolutely adore Simon.
He's lovely, isn't he? And he's got a question that's going to come up later as well.
Wow,
and he said,
I should have known that Simon would have one.
Oh yeah, he's got a really good question. It's like towards the end of the questioning, and towards the end of the interrogation. And he says, hello everyone, and a big hi to Rav, and like he's a super fan of yours. And he says he's rearranged his life to be here at the live broadcast today.
Oh, do you know what? I'm a huge fan of Simon, so actually it's strange hearing that the other way around.
Yeah, oh yeah, well maybe he'll be sitting in this seat sometime next year and we can chat to him and you can do the same. So we've got Richard Gross. He says, ciao from the north of Italia. Wow, we've got a real international audience here. Nadia Federman, she's in Switzerland.
Wow.
Joseph Buchan from Gbot Runs. I don't know what that is, but it sounds good. And Adrian Camillari is watching from Malta. Oh, it's an international stellar class today. Stephen Mackey, he's in Scotland. He says, 4'9". I bet if you wore one of my running tops, no one would see you.
Do you know what? When I got my running top from the London Marathon, which we'll go on to at some point later, oh my goodness, it came through and it was large. Now, I mean, I'm an extra small at best. This thing was like, I could have worn it as a proper dress. It was huge. It was just the biggest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, maybe we should start rocking them as dresses. But I just found out there's a really cool lady called Jin's Running Stitch, and she can make little teddy bears out of race t-shirts. So you just give her like one race t-shirt that you don't really want to wear, and she makes it into a teddy bear, and all the logos are like across the teddy bear or on its foot. And she does a really nice job. It's really lovely. Yeah. So yes. Back to you then, Rav. Why do you love running? Like, it's clear from all your social media and the fact that you've nearly run for 1,000 days consecutively. I just love torture. But yeah, why do you love it? And in particular, because this is a trail and ultra running channel, like why the trails? You've got beautiful pictures on Instagram. So yeah, why running? Why trail running?
Gosh, yeah, I am very, very, very lucky. Because where I live, it is beautiful. I am surrounded, literally, my village is surrounded by fields and woodland. I've got a woods right behind my house, so you look out of the window at the back and you just see trees, you don't see anything else. I just love
lovely.
scenery. And I have to admit, until I started running, I actually didn't know where we lived. You know, I got in the car and I drove to wherever I needed to go. And I've recently discovered so many places that are local to me. I just think when you run, especially like trail running in particular, I find trail running really therapeutic. And I don't know if some of your viewers probably don't know a lot about my history, but I've, you know, generally have, and all of the races that I've done are generally road races. But most of my weekend runs where I get a little bit more time, I try and explore the local fields and trails, and I absolutely adore it. There's a sense of adventure you get when you run. It just makes you feel really alive. But trail running in particular, especially the local woods that we've got, again, it's going to sound a little bit perhaps cheesy, but there's something a little bit spiritual about running in an old woodland where literally you can hear silence. And I don't know about you, but I'm literally surrounded 24/7 by the phone, by emails, by having to interact with people all of the time. So if I'm not with people, then I'm online talking to people. So for me, it's literally the only time where it's completely quiet and you can hear everything around you. And I don't know, it gives you a whole new appreciation of nature as well.
Yeah, it's so peaceful, isn't it? And you can really feel like you escape.
Yeah, it's very much an escapism. I think it makes you feel like you've been transported into like a mini universe, and it almost feels like it's a secret and no one else knows about it.
Yeah, especially.
Yeah. So I always say that, I mean, I live an incredibly public life online. People know what I choose to share with everyone, but you know, I do have a lot of posts and I put up a lot and I share a lot about what I'm doing a lot of the time. However, despite all of that, there are times where, although I'm incredibly positive and upbeat and quite happy a lot of the time, I am like everybody else. I do get sad and I do get upset and there are frustrations. And I have to admit, the only place where I feel completely at ease and normal is this. It's really silly. I run to this place local to me. It's like a local water source. And I call it my happy place. And I'll go there when I'm feeling euphorically happy, but I'll also go there when I'm feeling a little bit sad. And it's probably the only place I allow myself to cry. But I always say that, you know, I've left my tears here and I've unloaded whatever it is that's going on, whatever's playing on my mind at the time. I just offload it into the water and then it's done.
Yeah.
And then bizarrely, when I come home, I'm just feeling a million times better, and in reality nothing's happened. Nothing's changed.
You've added to the water.
Water source.
Yeah,
I really add to the water source. So I can cry when I want to cry. I can really cry.
Yeah, it's good for you. It's a good stress reliever. Running and crying. Yeah, get it all out.
And then no one sees, and it's just done.
Sweating from the eyes.
Yeah, no, I just think trail running for me in particular, it's just a very it's good for the soul.
Definitely.
It is soul food. I know it's very cheesy to say that, but there is.
No, that's a great way of saying it. It's like brown bread, isn't it? Like a real big, nice chunk of brown bread.
It's really good for you. If you're, I get the whole need for speed with road running, and I do enjoy road running. Or, you know, I do a lot of it, but there is something completely lovely. I love the guest.
I left the door slightly ajar and the cat wants feeding. Oops.
Yeah, so that's why.
Yeah. Oh, I really love that. I love that you love trail running. And you only live in Leicester, and Leicester's like literally there on my map. So we'll have to meet up when we're allowed. We'll have to do some stuff together. That'll be great. So now we know why you started running and why you love running. We need to find out about this streak. So we've got a first question from one of my patrons. It's Conrad, who is listening right now. So he wants to know, like, what was the motivation or like the mental switch that just clicked when you went from not doing any running, he's called it like like you went from wearing your slippers in front of the telly or whatever it was to running shoes. Like, why did you start doing a streak? Did you always think, oh, I'm going to run 1,000 times?
Oh gosh, no. I didn't even know.
Start?
I genuinely didn't know that such a thing as run streaking even existed. And I'm going to sound really silly when I say this now. I actually didn't think we were allowed to run every day.
Yeah, well, most people don't, do they? They like take a rest day.
Yeah, I mean, I went into this really blindly. Like, I had, you know how like now, when we went into lockdown now, the first time, not second time.
Yeah.
And when we were allowed to go out for like an hour to exercise or whatever it was that we all were trying to interpret those rules for. You could see who the newbie runners were. You could identify a newbie runner purely because you have no idea what you're doing. You're wearing all the wrong gear because you're probably wearing your old trainers that you've had for like 12 years.
And jogging bottoms. I used to run in jogging bottoms, like with a flare on them. And they used to get wet and then drag.
I didn't. No, mine actually had like an elastic around the ankle. I was a little bit
better.
More high-tech. Yeah. Nonetheless, it was quite tragic. But yeah, no, I think there was this whole element of just thinking I need to do something. I need to get myself fit. I actually started running a couple of times a week, and then it built up to sort of 3-4 times a week. I had started running just before I think my 36th birthday outside, and it was May, and you start running in sort of May, June time, and it's beautiful outside. And then I started noticing these sunrises, and every day I try and get up a little bit earlier to just see the sky change colour. And it just became, I felt like I was chasing sunrise a lot of the time, because obviously sunrise at that time of the year is getting earlier and earlier. So I was waking up earlier and earlier. Then I started to run to fundraise for a little girl who was very special to me, called Isabella. She was the niece of a very close friend of mine. And they needed some help to fundraise for her treatment because she was suffering with a really rare form of cancer called neuroblastoma. Izzy became, how can I put it, a really huge part of my journey. Sorry. I think I was a bit emotional.
That's okay. It's an emotional subject. It sounds like she was very close to your heart, and know, part of the reason you do this is for her. And I'm sure I'm sure this is amazing, and I'm sure your friend is just so thankful for you.
Well, she just came into my life out of nowhere, and I called her my little angel because although everyone thought I was helping her, in reality I was going through a bit of a crazy period in my own life, and she helped me. I mean, she was she was in remission. She'd gone through cancer treatments several times. She'd been in remission loads of times since she was 3.
Wow.
I met her just before she turned 11, and she was just this bright spark, this bundle of like positive energy. I just can't explain to you. She was the most amazing little human I have ever met in my entire life. We'd Snapchat each other a lot, and I'd meet her in hospital. She'd come and see me when she was out. Yeah, she was just... So anyway, I started running to fundraise for Izzy.
Yeah.
I set myself a little challenge of doing 65 5Ks in 12 weeks.
Wow.
And when you're new to running, that's roughly about 5 times a week for 12 weeks. And if you've never really ran much, so if I'd started in May, I think this was around July time that I decided, or September, I can't remember, I decided to do this challenge for her. It just got me used to running a lot.
Yeah. Running every day.
Well, it wasn't quite every day. It was 5 times-ish a week. Because don't forget, at this point, I'm still thinking we're not allowed to run every day.
Yes.
So I just assumed we had to take a rest day. And slowly, whilst I was on Instagram, because my Twitter was very much work, but whereas my Instagram was all running people, I just found runners and started following them, and they were all taking rest days. So I just assumed this is the rule book that runners follow. I don't know what I'm doing, so we have to take a rest day. And then I finished the challenge for Izzy the first time, and it was just before Christmas, and everyone I knew was doing Red January.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, I quite fancy this thing of you're allowed to run every day for a month. I
Yeah.
quite like this idea. So I started a few days before everybody else, and then I finished a few days after everyone else. And I think it was 37 or 39 days. I can't remember. I always get it wrong. I'm sure I've misquoted it again. But yeah, so I did that and I really enjoyed running every day. And, I was running in January, so it is dark, it is frosty, there is ice, there are winds, just every element that can come at you was coming at me.
Yeah, if you could do it every day in January, you can do it every day and every other month, can't you, really?
Yeah, and then I met this guy in my village who would always run at the same time as me, but we'd pass each other in opposite directions. And he was called, in my head, he was called Man with Dog, but his real name is Scott and his dog is called Milo.
Bad with dog.
He's become a really good friend now. And he was basically on the approach to run his run streak 1000. So we were laughing about this the other day, that actually I'm telling this story several times over, but this is around the time that me and him became friends. And he said, oh, well, why don't you join me and do a 100-day run streak, and then I'll reach day 1000 and you'll reach day 100. And I was like, are you having a laugh? I'm not being funny. I can't do 50 days. How am I going to do 100? And he went, go on, I bet you can do it. And it sounded a bit impossible. So anything that sounds a little bit impossible is normally me going, yes, I'm going to do
it. Definitely.
So yeah, I started running every day, got to like day 50 and was really surprised that actually felt okay. All right, then I'll do 100 days and I'll get to day 100. This will be a really big achievement. Did a big announcement on Instagram, and once you've put it on Instagram or Twitter, you have to do it because that's the rules. And, so I got to day 100 and it felt like this is okay. So I have carried on and I'm still here because it got to day 200 and then it's like, oh, you may as well do a year.
Yeah.
But for like a year, and it was like, oh, I'm so close to like day 400 now. I may as well get 400. And then before you know it, it's just escalated. And I've been very lucky that pretty much every milestone I've had from 500, apart from the one that we had in May, which was 800, every 100 anniversary milestone I've had, I've ran with friends and we've been able to celebrate sort of in a really lovely way. But we call it Run with Ravs. So it's a bit of a mini viral thing where I encourage all of my friends that are virtual to run with me wherever they are across the globe. And everyone, as long as they use my hashtag Run with Rav, we've normally got between sort of 250 to 300 people sort of globally running with me.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's a really wonderful thing. And I was thinking, oh, you can't really run with that many people when you celebrate your 1,000 in like a week's time because of lockdown and households mixing and stuff. But if it's virtual, then that's great. We could all do it. Let's all do it. I'll do it with you.
You will.
I will do it. There's a couple of people who've put on the live chat here. If you run 10 kilometers a day for 4,016 days, that's the circumference of the Earth. Did you know that?
I actually didn't know that. I mean, I have a minimum of 5k a day that I have to do, but that's just a stupid little rule that I've created for myself.
So I was going to say, because you've done the London Marathon, you've done marathons, you've done half marathons within this, you're doing your battle ropes and your strength and your everything. I was going to say, do you have like a minimum amount that
because it's
could you just do a mile?
No, I've never, because I used to do the loop of the village. And I do still every now and again, but it's 5k, so it just makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, that does, and you've just got to do that one thing. And I suppose I was thinking about this earlier. It just makes life very simple. Like there's no decision to be made. Shall I run or shall I not run? You just always have to run. The question is merely how far. So, yeah, that's really interesting. And Conrad here says he's really wowed with your answer. He just loved what you were talking about earlier about your motivation. He was saying that's an amazing answer. Your running is wrapped with true depth and feeling. Mine is mostly a leave my troubles on the trail thing. And thank you for that from Conrad. So
thank you. Apologies for the over emotion.
It's not over emotion. That's a difficult subject to talk about. That's very appropriate emotion, I would say. I would definitely say. And Maeve O'Reilly says, my 10-year-old and I ran a mile a day for 165 days. We were aiming for the whole year, but on day 166, we forgot. How sad. So she wants to know how you remember to run again. How you remember to run every day. They're going to try again in January to do, they're going to try again for their whole year of running every day.
Yeah, so it really helps when you use some form of running device to record your runs. So all of my runs for the run streak and before are all on Strava. I used to use the Nike running app like from before. That helps. So often I I have to check. Have I run today? I don't know.
Yeah, like today. You're like,
today, genuinely.
Do I need to go out after I've spoken to Claire?
I know. And then I was like, did I? Oh, well, because sometimes I do run really, really late. But yeah, no, I sometimes have to look through my phone. Have I taken pictures of random streets at peculiar hours? Yes, I have. I've been running today.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think it's a very much a conscious thing. I do have to sit down and think, yep, what did I do this morning? What was my plan for today? Oh yeah, no, I have run. Or no, I've got to run. It actually does. It sounds silly. It sits in the back of my head. So especially on a very busy day, a bit like the time when we were at the running show, my most stressful points are days like those where you're up and you've got to be somewhere very early, so you can't do a morning run, and then you're there till very, very late, and therefore you are talking about out of the 24 hours, you've literally got about 45 minutes to run.
Yeah, that it's hard to run. Ironically, the hardest day of the year to run was the running show.
Yeah.
I feel like you should have just jogged on the spot whilst you spoke to people.
You know, I actually said to Anna from the running channel, because she'd organised a run there, and I was thinking, like, if I could have spent the day a little bit sweaty, I genuinely would have ran with her that morning and got it done.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Or you could have got a treadmill. Like there was some treadmill things going on, wasn't there?
Stand.
Yeah.
We had those Nordic trainer treadmill things, those crazy things that they were using there.
Oh, yeah, you could have done that for your 5K.
Oh, good thinking.
Yeah, but still the sweatiness, yeah, you're right. You'd have to go for a shower after. Yeah. So what's the latest time that you've ever run then? Have you ever run like the hour before midnight kind of thing, like 11 p.m?
Yeah, around the running show time, I think I left the house around 10:30, 11:15. And then my 5K was about half an hour. So yeah, it was quite late when I got back. Although then I do sometimes think, I know some of my run streak friends have got, some of my run streak friends have done runs where they run one just before 11 and then they'll run another one just after 12 or just after midnight, so you get like the double effect.
Then
you get almost a 24-hour break.
Yeah, a good technique. I was wondering that before, but I thought, no one's silly enough to run it of half midnight. No one wants to do that.
They do. A lot of the boys I know that are run streakers do it every now and again.
Yeah. So there's like a clan of you then, is there?
There's a whole tribe of us. And I've been accused of being a bad influence. So, and I am, but for all of the right things rather than for all of the wrong things.
Yeah.
If you hang out with me, I will convince you can do things that you probably are teetering on. Should I not do it? No, you will do it, because I'll convince you it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I think that this week I've got a friend, I've never met him, but he's a Twitter friend, and he was like, I really want to run a marathon. And I'm like, okay, well, here's the link. I found one I really want to run next year. Let's do it together. And
yay.
Like, okay. And I was like, sign up now, because if you don't sign up now, you won't do it. So now I was just like, oh my God, what have you done? You made me sign up to a marathon.
Yeah. Well, he shouldn't have been silly enough to say it to you. You're like a doer, like a maker, happener person.
Actually, yes.
But yeah, so that's really interesting. How many people would you say, like in the UK, are doing running streaks right now? Like, have you got a bit of a feel for the extent to which this community exists? Is there a Facebook group?
Okay, I don't know if there's a Facebook group, and if there was, I probably wouldn't be part of it.
Oh, okay.
No, because I don't really use Facebook for that
Oh,
reason.
okay.
But yeah, no, if there is an International Run Streakers Association,
Oh.
so if you've got a run streak for over a year, then you can join.
Oh.
But I think within my own Twitter circles, my Instagram circles, I am probably friends with about 30 or 40 run streakers, but there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them.
Yeah.
We're a crazy little tribe of like crazy folk.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like loads of people are like Conrad's like, I love the double run in the middle of the night, and Stuart Passmore says, in Canada you are forced to run or you freeze. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine actually in Canada.
Yeah, especially this time of year. But a lot of people, the main question that I got asked from a lot of my patrons, at least 4 different people, have asked about the whole injury and illness question, because obviously you thought, like, we all think, oh, we're not really supposed to run every day, and so we all go, oh my goodness, if somebody's run every day for like 3 years. So Florence wants to know how you avoid injury. Kelly wants to know how you deal with these niggles before they become injuries. Conrad wants to know how you recover. Like, surely there's days when you're like, you've just done the London Marathon, for example, and then the next day, surely that's going to be difficult. Like, how do you recover? Do you do other stuff like yoga and stuff? And Adrian Camillari has sent a huge list of questions, which I will then ask you. But he also asked about the injury side of things as well. So yeah, are you just really lucky, or do you actively manage not getting injured, even though you're running every day?
Well, there hasn't been a time where I've been injury free the entire point. So yeah, I've had a fever once where it got quite bad. And I remember doing that run and feeling really foolish afterwards because I probably shouldn't have. I was sick and I really just needed my bed, but because I am stubborn and stupid, I went out and I ran. But I ran very slowly, took lots and lots of breaks, but I sweated a lot and I genuinely just wasn't very well. But it was just one of those bugs that had to get out of the system. So yeah, that because I ran that day kept the streak alive. But that was me being very stubborn and silly. And then I've hurt my knee quite a few times. In fact, even now, today, I'm wearing a knee strap on my knee, on my left knee. When I was training for the London Marathon the first time round in February, I'd reached mile 15 in my training, and something just didn't feel right in my knee. And I just thought, oh, it's just a bit of a niggle. The next day, I could barely walk, let alone run. But by the evening, I'd put loads of ice on it, I'd elevated it, done all of the things that textbook stuff tell you to do, and it was all right enough. And bizarrely, it didn't hurt as much to run on it, but it hurt to walk on it.
Oh, that's strange. Yeah. Wow.
Really, really strange. It must have just been something to do with the impact. So I ran on grass rather than on the pavement just to make it very soft. And again, lots of stop starts. So yeah, I do think I have been very, very, very lucky that I haven't encountered as many injuries as some people. I also think I'm very stubborn and stupid, and I also ignore a lot of niggles. So if they're there, I'll do what I can to manage them, but sometimes I'll also mask it with, and you shouldn't do, but I think I don't acknowledge that it exists as a niggle.
Yeah. Do you do like a specific stretching routine or anything, or some yoga, or do you own one of, like a massage gun or anything like that?
Yeah. Just before we started the marathon, so just before the run up to London, the one thing everyone was scaring me about, because I hadn't run a marathon until the virtual London Marathon this year, was everyone was saying, you're going to really suffer the next day after doing the marathon. There is no way you'll be able to walk down the stairs properly. You won't be able to go to work. You'll have to how are you going to do the run streak? It's not possible. Your leg's going to be dead. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to do everything. That's not in my control. I can't control how my body's going to react. I haven't been through a marathon. I don't know. I just know that when I've run up to 22 miles, I've been fine the next day. So unless something really crazy happens in the last 4 miles of that race that break me, I don't understand what. Anyway, so I thought, okay, control the controllable. So my business side comes in. And I thought, right, I'm going to go and get a massage gun. So I bought a massage gun and literally used it the night before, used it after I'd come back from doing the marathon. And the next day, this will sound really silly. So my habit is, I don't know about everybody else, but I run down the stairs when I get up in the morning. I don't walk downstairs. I have a really bad habit of running down the stairs. I ran down the stairs, was in the kitchen, was doing, I think, sandwiches for the kids for school. And it suddenly occurred to me that I shouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah.
Because
not based on everybody, what they were saying.
Yeah. So, I think the massage gun massively helped with recovery.
Yeah.
But that's only been very recent. I've never used a foam roller. I probably wouldn't know what to do with one if I had one in the first place. I do yoga, but normally in the middle of a run. And because I like to do yoga in beautiful places, I normally run and then get to the location I want to do some stretches and then run back. So it's not really a post run. It's not every day. It's just if the weather and the scenery and the mindset is correct, then I'll bust out some yoga moves. Otherwise, no, I wish there was a magic thing I could say to people, because I do get asked it often.
Yeah.
So what stretches do you do? And I'm like zero, like nothing.
But I think a lot of people, the reason that you wouldn't be able to run at the London Marathon is if you proper beasted it and you were trying for some kind of crazy PB. Whereas if you're just going along and you're running steadily and you're having a nice time, taking your time and not killing yourself, then yes, you can run the next day. You're in it for the long haul, aren't you?
4 hours 31, and that's
very fast.
It was fast for me. I was quite happy with that.
Yeah, that's definitely a great time. Yeah.
For a first marathon, I was quite pleased.
Yeah, that's awesome. 4:30, it was brilliant. And I thought it was really interesting that I read on one interview that you don't really believe in running failures. They were asking you the question, when have you ever sort of failed with running? And you were like, well, I don't really believe in running failures. So can you just outline your sort of ethos on that to inspire us all?
And I mean this generally in life, so it's not just running. And when I say I don't believe in failure, because there's such a negative connotation attached to failure, it's kind of like you drop all your, you drop everything and you kind of lie on the floor and you're just all in worries me, and it's all sad, and it's that's not what we do. Even in life we encounter things that, yes, we don't succeed at the first time, or that things don't work out the right time at that point in time. Well, either they're not meant for us, or actually we learn to do it better. So perhaps we didn't do it right properly the first time and we learned something. So that's why I don't really view it as a failure. So even when I'm running, say for example when I was experimenting with fueling, for example on the lead up to the London Marathon, and I was looking at what fueling I could use, what should I eat the night before, what things are playing havoc with my tummy, what things are keeping me going for longer. I don't use gels, for example. Do I need water? Do I need electrolytes? What is this crazy stuff that all these scientific real runners are talking about? And I could have seen, I tried a few things and I could have found those were potentially, in some people's eyes, were failures. But no, actually I felt like, no, I know now, next time not to do that. So I've learned something. So it can't be a negative, because you've there's a positive that's come out of it.
Yeah, a lot of people use that an acronym, don't they? It's called FAIL, and it goes first attempt in learning. So rather than it being, oh my God, you failed, it's just the first time you've done it, and you shouldn't expect to succeed. So, like, I don't know if you know John Kelly, he did this grand round where he wanted to run to all of the 3 major classic mountain rounds in the UK, like Paddy Buckley, then John and Bob Graham, and then Charlie Ramsey, and cycle between them. And the first time that he set off to do it, he quit just before just not long after he'd started cycling towards Scotland. So he did 2 rounds, cycled between them, and then stopped. And then, like, this year he managed to do it. So yeah, he didn't beat himself up and go, oh my God, I did the wrong thing, I failed, oh my God. He was just like, well, this is obviously a very good challenge because I couldn't do it the first time. It's obviously a great challenge, and I'm going to go for it again. It's just a really good learning experience.
Respect the challenge that you come across as well. So sometimes we underestimate the challenges that we've got, and perhaps it isn't even the first or the second or the third attempt that we get it right. But if it means enough to you and you really want to do it, you'll find a way to do it.
Yeah, and you have obviously found a way to run for almost 1,000 days straight. It's amazing. So there's quite a lot of people who are they're quite concerned about the potential end of this challenge. So first, we need to know. Becky says, my question is whether she has a plan to break the streak on purpose, like at day 1,000, or are you just going to keep going as long as possible?
I actually got DM'd about this, I would probably say I've had about 80 or 90 DMs asking me this exact question in the last week by various different people.
Yeah, it's the question, isn't it? Is she going to continue?
I know, it's probably because the number is getting closer and closer to 1,000, so people have suddenly clicked, like, oh my gosh, something might happen. And it's a bit like, do you remember when, like, the year 2000
yeah, the millennium bug.
The millennium bug was going to happen. Well, I think we've had COVID, so we've kind of had
yeah. Oh, imagine that would have been a beautiful irony. 2000 and COVID.
I know, but I think I never set out. I don't set out to do things for them to finish and them to end. I think there will come a time naturally. I'm not completely unrealistic. I know that there will come a day where my body says, actually, Rav, you can't do it anymore. Or I perhaps will sustain an injury, or through ill health, or through life and circumstance. We don't know what's going to happen around us, do we? Things may happen that require me to stop. And as much as that will break me to a point inside a little bit, I will be sad. I'm not going to lie. I will cry.
Go to your special place and add the water, sweat through the eyes.
Exactly. But actually, if I look back, and I think I've been doing a lot of reflection recently about the journey that I've had so far, that actually I've had the most amazing experience over the last 1,000 days. I'm truly blessed. I have met some amazing people, made some beautiful friends, seen some things, and visited some places and ran in the most amazing locations across the world. You know, I've been lucky. I've been able to continue the run streak when I've been on holiday. But yeah, there are no plans to finish on day 1,000 unless something forces me to.
Like a broken leg or something.
Yeah, I mean, that might be difficult, but I'm fairly sure I could balance it on a skateboard or something.
Yeah,
I have thought about this.
Hop along.
Hop along, yeah.
For 6 weeks while it heals. That would be even more impressive, to be honest. But Rich Simpson has suggested something for day 1,001. If you are going to finish, he says, on day 1,001, are you going for a bike ride instead? You know, maybe mix it up a bit. Wink.
I would love to. But no, I'm not. There are no plans to finish the run streak.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, Simon Gerhardt's question is redundant. He says, yay, Rav is one of the most positive and upbeat people I have ever met. This is sure to be a cracker. Oh, the cat needs to be fed. He keeps coming to say hello. I'll just hold him here for a second while I read this question. She is one of the most positive and upbeat people I have ever met. This is sure to be a cracker. I'm hastily rearranging my diary so I can watch live. The main question from me is, how has Rav prepped psychologically for when the streak isn't there anymore? It will leave a big gap in her life, whether it ends abruptly or Rav chooses an end date for it. How is she preparing for that, and will she replace it with another equally epic challenge? Oh my goodness, people already want to know what you're going to do next.
Very, very good question, Simon, actually. And I think that's only because Simon knows what I'm like. So, yeah, me being me, I like to control the controllable. So we're going back to what we talked about earlier. And one thing I can't control when it ends, but what I can do is I can start to psychologically prepare for this point in time where potentially it will end, and I think that's where this whole reflection side has been coming from. I've got a great friend who's my Twitter Winter Challenge captain. His name's Paul Davey. He should be watching right now. He's my Team Tornado captain, and he was on a run streak that was about 2 weeks behind mine, and through work circumstances, it was like on day 900 and something, he's had to stop his.
Oh no, not on day 900 and something. That's so annoying, isn't it?
It was. And actually watching how he's been since, how he, it's made me realise that watching someone who's so close to me like him go through it and be so positive and so upbeat, and actually appreciate the incredible journey that he's been on, and then actually say, I'm really lucky. I've actually experienced and done something pretty awesome,
Yeah.
And it's rubbish that it's ending, but the journey has been magnificent. And let's celebrate those, milestones that we've done. And he's so positive and upbeat now. I think, yes, Rav will survive without a run streak. But yeah, will I do something else afterwards? I don't know. I don't think I can answer that just yet.
Yeah, I bet you will, and that's a really good excuse for everybody to start following you on Instagram and Twitter to see what you do next. But I've just realised that Adrian has sent a ton of questions. Like literally, he says questions, loads, and I have only answered the injury part of them. So he just quickly, because we've had 50 minutes now, so I just need to ask you quickly all his questions. He wants to know, how are your feet? How are your feet, first of all?
They're actually really pretty, and I don't have runner's feet, so I have all my toenails, if that's what everyone's asking, and they are fully intact. I look after my feet quite a lot anyway.
Yeah,
so painted,
nice painted nails.
They're red, so yes.
Lovely. Okay, I think we need to see a picture of those on Instagram in the future as well. Like maybe on day 1,000, you could say these are the feet of a person who's run 1,000 runs.
I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, and he says, does she have some sort of Strava badge that is hers and hers alone? Because if not, there should be one.
Oh no, I am just one of lots of people who have run almost 1,000 days. I've got quite a few friends that are running over 1,000 days at the moment with active run streaks. So I'm not really unique. I'm not doing anything unique. I think all I'm doing is I just make a loud noise about everything that I do. My motion is really good, and it's really on point.
Yeah, well, it's good. It's really inspiring. I think it's wonderful. He wants to know if you've got any chafing, like because you don't get the chance to sort of necessarily let things heal. Like, have you had any chafing issues at all?
No, only when I first started running longer distances, training for the London Marathon. But yeah, no, other than that, once I realised that actually just Vaseline up everywhere that looks like it's going to be a bit of a problem, it's fine.
And it's all good. And do you wear minimal shoes or maximal shoes?
What does that even mean?
It's like how much cushioning is in your shoes. Have you got like the trend for barefoot shoes, or do you have like a real big wedge? They're just like normal Nike trainers. So yeah, but
Nike trainers, I mean, generally are quite cushioned anyway, so I'll probably say they're more cushioned.
Yeah.
More comfy. They're not anything like barefoot trainers.
Cool. Okay, we're getting through these questions here. He wants to know, what do your family think of your streak? Are they supportive, or do they think you are nuts?
They think I'm mad. Normally they think I'm mad. No, they are quite supportive. I don't think you can do something like this if you don't have a family that kind of whip around and assist in some way. But yeah, no, I tend to run very early or very late so that we don't really impact family time. But yeah.
And you see all the sunsets and sunrises as well, so it's like double win. And he's asked about like the colds and the injuries and stuff, but we already covered that with the other people, so hopefully that's fine for you there, Adrian. And then one last question from him: how does Rav deal with those days where she wakes up and her body simply says, "Not today, Rav"?
I don't have too many of them.
Yay.
I don't really have too many of them. Yeah, I mean, I have to force myself up. So what I do is in my bathroom, my running clothes exist in there. So the night before, I'll already have put out the next day's load of running clothes. So there is nothing else to get changed into if I'm running first thing. So I am on autopilot, don't forget. You know, you kind of get up, you run, and you do your thing, unless I'm obviously doing something and I need to be somewhere very early. So yeah, I do have days where I don't really want to run, and not every run is lovely. You know, we're not going to lie. I don't believe in people that say every run is all high fives and smiles. Actually, no, sometimes your body is a little bit like, nah, I don't really want to do it. But I would say then when you have a run streak, it forces you outside anyway. You kind of like don't have a choice.
Yes, very simple, isn't it? Yeah. That is fantastic. That's some great questions there from Adrian. So thank you so much for sending them in if you are watching now, Adrian. Or if you are listening on the podcast later, because my next job tonight will be to podcast this and put it out. So don't worry if you've missed it. You can also listen to it on the podcast. But we just need to, before we go, talk about the charity that you're now raising money for, because you're going to run 1,000 days and you want to raise £1,000 to kickstart this well in Kenya. So we've got a little film that we're going to watch just now. Is now a good time, or do you want to tell us about it a little bit first? Shall we watch the film first?
Yeah, I'll just give you a quick intro. So this t-shirt that I'm wearing right now and the banners that are behind me are for a social enterprise that I am business partners in with a guy called Chris Cooper. It's called Runners Heal. So if you ever see "We Run This" written on slogans on t-shirts, that's who we are. And basically every shirt that we sell provides a month's worth of school meals to a child in Kenya, in a region in Turkana. So, you know, a lot of people have bought these t-shirts. We've done, I think we've just tipped over a million meals mark now.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a really great enterprise to be involved in. We're not strictly a charity, we are a social enterprise. But yeah, I guess as I was sort of saying to you earlier, I love attention, don't get me wrong, and I have been very fortunate that a lot of opportunities come my way, and then I grab them because I'm an opportunist and I will milk them for every ounce that I can get. However, with all of the attention that's coming towards me for Run Streak 1000, I feel like I need to do something else. And as much as it can be a great day to do Run with Rav, actually it's not enough. And 2020, if anything, has shown us that actually we need to do something that's more positive, that being human is actually far more important. You know, we've been separated from all of the people that we love this year. We've all been apart, and actually it's love and it's faith and it's hope that brings us all together. So Chris will regularly go out to Kenya, and he will go and do the meal drops, and we've got a whole suite of schools that we go and provide these school meals to. And it's lovely because he goes and hand delivers them all, so we know where the funds are going. He went back in October, just after the last lockdown lifted, so he was able to go. And what he saw out there was he went to one of the schools where we've got, but I think the floodwaters had come in, and the school, because they're all mud huts, had been partially destroyed. But the school children were still playing on the site, and they were playing. And so he started to speak to them all. They get really excited when they see Chris rock up, and the team. And some of them took his sunglasses and so he said, "Oh, can I take some pictures of you guys?" So he took some pictures. And then some of the kids decided to walk to the local well.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Oh, okay, I'll come with you guys. I'll take some pictures of the scenery," because he's also a photographer. And the landscape shots out there were beautiful.
Yeah.
Although that he could see that a lot of the village had been damaged by these floods. When he was with these children, and that's what we'll see in this video in a minute, you can see the shock on his face, but you'll also see the colour of the water that they pulled out of the well.
Yeah.
And this is the water that they're drinking. And when he showed it to me when he came back, I just said, and I think we're both very much in agreement, we've both got children of a similar age to those kids that he saw. Would we be okay with our children drinking dirty water?
No.
No, we wouldn't. So why am I okay with someone else's child drinking dirty water? So the plan is to build a well, and we're going to use the next year. We've set up a crowdfunder, so Run Streak 1000 will be the launch of this year-long campaign that we're going to do to build a well in this village.
Fantastic.
So yeah,
Such a great idea.
I'm hoping as many people as possible take part in Run with Rav. My request will be that, we spend money on a cup of coffee and we all spend money on a bottle of water.
Yeah.
But if people donate that to this instead, we could actually, as a collective, we don't all have to donate very much, but if all of us donated a cup of coffee or the price of a bottle of water, then actually as a collective we could give a whole community a lifeline that's sustainable, and it's not a sticky plaster. It's actually something that has longevity within it and has a real impact on the lives of so many. Yeah, that's what's in this video.
Yeah, that's amazing. We'll just quickly watch it, and I don't know if we can speak over it, but I'll play it anyway. I think it's here. Yeah, here we go. So this is the well, and yeah.
So here in the middle of the desert, big open space. But then behind me is a hole so deep, and that's where they basically climb down, throw a bucket, fish up the water, pull it back up, and it's browny, orangey colour. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Yeah, so that's disgusting, isn't it? That water that was just there. Really horrible brown water in such a deep hole. What if someone fell down that as well?
Yeah, exactly.
Just health and safety nightmare. So if everybody just, instead of buying a bottle of water, just gave £1 or £2 to your charity, it'd only take 500 people really if we all gave £2.
Yeah, and the £1,000 is just purely to help us. I think the survey that it's going to cost us around £700 to get the survey done.
Yeah.
We'll be working with some agencies over there just to sort of see how much it would cost. So once we've got the survey done, we'll know what the ballpark figure is, and it will be between 15 to 20 grand. So the £1,000 is just a ballpark. If we manage to sort of get more than that on the day, then wonderful, because it will just go into the larger pot that we're going to be crowdfunding for. But we will spend a whole year trying to do this well. But this will be a little start towards it.
Yeah. Oh, so you'll have to keep running for another whole year really now to keep on with the momentum. Yeah.
We're very lucky we have the most amazing ambassador family out there. And they represent us across the globe really proudly. And I know that we'll all pull together and we'll find different ways to do things that will hopefully get us to this total before too long.
Yeah, it's just such a noble cause, isn't it? So anybody who's listening or watching, then definitely. Sorry, the cat is just, I think he's just come in through the open door and he's just harassing us now. But yeah, it's a really noble cause. And I just hope that doing this show and doing the podcast version as well, I hope that you'll get a few more people signing up as well, just because it's really awesome to just be involved in such a grassroots project where you clearly see there is a thing that needs doing quick, let's go and address that. So that's awesome. And Simon says to you that you'll definitely survive when the run streak ends. But yeah, so. I've got visions of you doing other things, and now you've got this well to focus on as well. Like, that's just like double trouble, isn't it? You're going to be all guns blazing for that. Well, that's absolutely brilliant. It's been so good to speak to you tonight, Rav. I'm so pleased that you came on the show, and I just want to say thank you for coming on and telling us all about the run streak and telling us all about the charity. And so just finally, where can everybody follow you and find out more? Just give us a little...
So before I go, actually, I just want to quickly do a bit of other promotion, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, go for it.
So Runner's Heel is obviously one part of my business partnering, and we are at Runner's Heel on Instagram and Twitter, and you can find us on both of those platforms. I am at Rav Billan on Instagram and on Twitter, so I'm fairly easy to find. But my other business partner is an award-winning poet called Running Mr. Jones.
Yay!
Who some of you may have heard of. And we created this. I'm just talking about, like, it's Christmas. You have something.
I've got one too. Ta-da! Hey! I'm so prepped.
Winning calendars.
We didn't even plan this.
I know, that's so funny. So yes, we created this calendar for runners, and Claire, you can probably show them rather than me, but Sunday has got a different name in the running calendar.
Oh, it has. I didn't even notice that. Oh wow, Run Day.
Yeah, so the calendar is full of 12 of Al's inspirational and motivational running poems, and we are fast selling out of these. They're just like the perfect Secret Santa gift.
They are the perfect Christmas gift. I'm planning, the reason mine is right next to my desk is I've got calendar social post tomorrow, so I'm doing an Instagram post on this tomorrow.
Thank you.
But for you, has he made a special one which says Run Day, Run Day, Run Day, Run Day, Run Day, Run Day, Run Day across?
Do you know what? I should have, but I think it's tempting fate too much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
One of its own entity.
Yeah, I love his poems. They're just so inspirational.
Right. I love the calendar. And then our other baby project was the book, which you've got a copy of as well.
Yes, yeah.
So yes, this one, Book of the Year at the Running Awards 2020. So yeah, we're really proud of both. And I'm just telling you all about them because I think you should be proud and celebrate all of the things that you get involved in. And I'm ridiculously happy that both of the two business ventures that I'm involved in to do with running are doing ridiculously well. So I kind of wanted to do a bit of a shout out to that one as well as this one.
Brilliant. Yes, I should have thought that because you're involved with both of those. So I will put links to the calendar and the book as well, as well as the Runner's Heel charity fundraiser in the show notes if you're listening on the podcast, and in the YouTube film description if you are watching on YouTube.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for everyone watching.
It's been fab, and everybody says there's some lovely comments. Nadia says thanks, what an inspiration, and Paul Feely says awesome interview, Rav, inspirational. So I've had some
very kind.
Really,
I think we all inspire each other. To be fair, you'll be surprised the number of people who give me that extra push to get out every day.
That's a really nice thing to say. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. It's been lovely to meet you on Skype, and hopefully we'll be able to run together. Like, seeing as you live so close, it would be great to get out together and do some stuff sometime. So this is not the last that Wild Ginger Running YouTube channel will be hearing from Rav, definitely.
No, I will be back, but we'll be on a trail next time.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Fantastic. Well, we'll say goodnight to everyone now, and join me next Wednesday for another very inspiring guest. But thank you so much, Rav. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Night, everyone.
Bye.